In this tutorial, we will be using the Rosabella pattern as an example to showcase some of the techniques we'll discuss. Get ready for the best tips and tricks to create stunning amigurumi projects. First, let's learn how to attach the legs. For the first leg, locate the first stitch of round 8, which is the same stitch we slip stitched into at the end of this round. Now after completing round 8, we will start round 9 by making 6 single crochet stitches on the second leg. Then create 2 chains, and moving back to the marked stitch on the first leg, make 12 single crochet stitches around it. Then make 2 single crochet stitches on the back bums of the 2 chains. Finally, complete the round by making 6 single crochet stitches on the second leg. This will result in a total of 28 stitches for round 10. Now, let's see how to attach the arms to the body. When you reach round 22, you will begin by making 2 single crochet stitches on the body. Then starting from the marked stitch on the arm, make 6 single crochet stitches around the first arm. Now make 12 single crochet stitches around the body, then starting from the marked stitch, make 6 single crochet stitches on the second arm. Finish the round by making 10 single crochet stitches on the body. It's important to leave a long tail on each arm after fastening off. This will allow us to sew and close the gap between each arm and the body securely. Now, let's learn how to create the face embroidery. To begin, carefully position the eyes on the head according to the pattern. For sewing the eyelashes, insert your needle into the stitch gap located just above the previously marked eye gap. Follow the instructions provided in the video to achieve beautiful eyelashes. When sewing the embroidery, it's recommended to use only a few strands of thread. In this tutorial, I used 4 strands, but remember that the number of strands can be adjusted based on your preference. For added safety when it comes to the eyes, I recommend using sewable eyes, especially for children under 3 years old. Sewable eyes provide a secure attachment and reduce the risk of small parts coming off. However, you can also use safety eyes if you prefer. Safety eyes have a locking mechanism that keeps them firmly in place, so you can choose the option that best suits your project. Now let's move to placing the nose on the head. Position the nose according to the pattern, spanning a width of 2 to 3 stitches. However, it's important to note that the exact width is subjective, and you can adjust it according to your personal preference and what looks best for you. Now let's learn how to create a pica stitch for our doll's ear. To start, begin by making a single crochet stitch into a magic ring. Then make a double crochet and chain 2. Following that, make a slip stitch into the top of the double crochet, which is called a pica stitch. Continue working on the ear following the instructions provided in the pattern. Now let's explore how to create the hair using a case study. Please note that this is not specific to the Rosabella pattern, but rather focuses on the technique of creating the hair. To begin, make 5 single crochet stitches in a magic ring. Then we have the option to work in either the back loops or front loops of the stitches to create bumps that will serve as the base of the second layer of hair. We will work through 4 cases. In the first 2 cases, we will work through the back loops of the stitches, resulting in the bumps appearing on the same side. In the third and fourth cases, we will work through the front loops of the stitches, causing the bumps to appear on the opposite side. In these cases, we will need to flip the hair wig to continue working. By manipulating whether we work through the back or front loops, we can create different effects for the hair. To create the hair strands in all 4 cases, start with a slip stitch and mark it as a reference point. Chain the desired stitch count and begin from the third chain. Make half double crochet stitches until you reach the last 2 chains where you transition from half double crochet stitches to single crochet stitches. Repeat this process for each hair strand, making slip stitches in between. Please note that the specific stitch counts and the desired length of the hair strands can vary depending on the style and look you want to achieve. After finishing the last hair strand, we will reach the slip stitch that we marked at the beginning. Depending on the case, we will make a slip stitch in either the front loop or back loop of the stitch. After finishing the first layer of hair in all 4 cases, we will notice the difference between them. In the first 2 cases, we will notice that the bumps we created are on the same side of our work. In the second 2 cases, we will need to flip our work to continue working on the bumps we created because they are on the opposite side. Another noticeable difference is the direction of the hair strands bending. In the first 2 cases, the hair strands will bend outward, away from the amigurumi doll's head. However, in the second 2 cases, due to the flipping of the hair wig, the hair strands will bend inward towards the doll's head. But regardless of the specific case, you will observe that the number of hair strands created will be equal to the number of stitches in the third round where we work the hair strands. Now let's move to the second layer of hair. In the first case, after reaching the marked stitch, we will make a slip stitch in the front loop of that stitch to get closer to the bumps. Then we'll make another slip stitch into the bump itself. Now we have 2 choices. We can either work in a counterclockwise or a clockwise direction to continue making the hair strands. In this case, let's go counterclockwise. To create the hair strands in this layer, we'll follow the same steps as before. However, as we make more hair strands, you'll notice that the second layer of hair strands bends outward just as the first layer. You can skip 1 or 2 bumps by making slip stitches based on the hairstyle you desire to make. For the second case, you will follow the same steps as in the first case. After completing the first hair strand, we will continue making the rest, but this time we will work in a clockwise direction. As we add more strands, you will notice that the second layer of hair bends inward in the opposite direction of the first layer of hair in this case. In the third case, where the bumps are on the opposite side, we'll take a slightly different approach. After reaching the marked stitch, we will make a slip stitch in the back loop of the stitch to get closer to the bumps. Because this time, we are working on the opposite side. Then we will follow the same steps as before and finish creating the first hair strand. Afterwards, we will continue working in a counterclockwise direction to make the rest of them. As we add a few more strands, we will notice that the second layer of hair bends outward in the opposite direction of the first layer of hair in this case. In the fourth case, we will follow the same steps as before and finish creating the first hair strand. Afterwards, we will continue working in a clockwise direction to make the rest of the strands. As we add a few more strands, we will notice that the second layer of hair bends inward just as the first layer of hair in this case. That leaves us with these 4 cases. When using the same crochet hook size for all 4 cases but with different yarn weights, there will be noticeable differences in the appearance of the hair. If you use a smaller yarn weight, such as for the white and pink yarns, the hair will be flatter. On the other hand, by choosing a larger yarn weight for the same crochet hook size, the hair will become curlier. You can also use different crochet techniques to achieve specific effects in the hair texture. The V-stitch technique with its looser stitches can create flatter and smoother hair strands. On the other hand, the X-stitch technique with tighter stitches can result in curlier and more textured hair. By incorporating these techniques along with the yarn weight variations we discussed earlier, you have even more control over the final look and style of your amigurumi doll's hair. If you want to learn more about these techniques, you can refer to the previous tutorial in the series, which will provide detailed instructions and examples. The link to the tutorial will be available in the video description for further reference. In the video description below, you can also find the link to Rosabella's pattern, and my email address is also provided, so feel free to send me any questions you may have. Don't forget to watch the next video for Rosabella's second costume and make sure to subscribe to stay updated.